Ranking shows are the lifeblood of American culture. Whether it's college football, college basketball, movies, or even Halloween candy. Nothing is better than a group of people getting together, arguing about other people's hard work. Ultimately, nobody's changing anybody's mind, but we're just sitting there bitching at one another. And we here at Aging Gracefully are absolutely no different. So today, shamelessly, we're going to talk about the Nightmare on Elm Street film franchise and rank them 1 through 9, maybe even with an honorable mention tossed in there somewhere along the way. Let's talk about it. Coming in at number 9 with a whimper, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. They turned Freddy into the Wicked Witch of the West. They turned him into a bus driver. They turned him into a video game playing geek.
Now I'm playing with power!
Scary movies need scary cats doing scary things. And they make Freddy Krueger not scary. Number 8 on the countdown is going to go to A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. Now, Lisa Wilcox carves out a really nice place for herself in this franchise with her character of Alice. It wasn't easy moving on from Nancy Thompson and Kristen Parker, but Alice does a really good job for herself in 2 films of the series, and we see a lot of great things from her in this movie. The goofy ending and the inclusion of this child that Freddy is apparently trying to be an au pair to didn't work for me. The 2010 remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street is going to come in at number 7 on my countdown. If you can get away from the fact that the outrage was unbelievably high over Jackie Earle Haley playing Freddy Krueger as opposed to Robert Englund, they do a lot of really cool things in this movie to try to differentiate from the movies of the past. I thought it was a good movie. I thought the micronaps were inventive. I thought there were just enough callbacks to other Wes Craven films to make things interesting. I don't think it deserved a lot of the backlash that it got, but a lot of people hate this movie. I'm not one of them. It's just number 7 in this franchise for me. The bloody and disgusting brouhaha that we got in 2003 between 2 horror titans comes at number 6. Of course, I'm talking about Freddy vs. Jason. And for 90 minutes, you got everything that was advertised. It was brutal. It was bloody. It was over the top. Aside from Jason suddenly being afraid of water, I thought this was a home run and it was worth the wait. Now we're into what I would like to call the heavy rotation part of our countdown. These movies I could watch over and over again, nonstop on Halloween or the entire month of October for that matter. One of these movies is in the DVD player. Yes, I still use a DVD player. Number 5 gives us A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. There are a few times I was very upset with a horror film. We've talked about a couple of them. Finding out that Jason wasn't the killer and the first Friday the 13th comes to mind. This is also a very vivid one because we lost Patricia Arquette as Kristen Parker. The movie sustains, though. The movie actually excels. We wind up getting Alice, played by Lisa Wilcox, and she's tremendous, and the cast is good. The deaths are inventive. You know, the roach death is still talked about to this day in horror. We get a church showdown that's very memorable. It's a cool scene, and it really saves it for a lot of us Nightmare fans from the endings of 1 and 2.
You've got their power. I've got their souls. Come on.
Number 4 on the countdown, Wes Craven's A New Nightmare. I remember seeing this movie when I was 14 years old, and I was so confused when they started calling Nancy Thompson by her real name of Heather Langenkamp. And man, what a cool concept. They brought Freddy out of the silver screen and into the real lives of the actors and, in most cases, the people that worked on the film. Wes Craven is a victim in this movie. They incorporated Milo Hughes as Heather's movie son, and he did a great job as Dylan. Even the stuffed animal Rex was fantastic. They did a lot of cool things. The ending was okay, but this is the movie that they needed to put out. This is the movie that came on the tails of that atrocity, Freddy's Dead, And they had to do something like this to keep Freddy Krueger alive. And they made Freddy scary again. He is horrifying in this movie. Now, number 3 is a perfect example of how your opinion of movies can change over the course of a few decades. Because when this movie came out, I hated it. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge, did not see the return of Nancy Thompson. We didn't get anybody from the original. And it was kind of hard to really get invested in this new character. Ultimately, though, you do get a lot of great characters in here. Lisa is fantastic as Jesse's girlfriend. Robert Russler is great as Jesse's sometimes friend, sometimes enemy. And so that those ancillary pieces really round this film out. And Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger is terrifying in this one. He's apparently trying to get into the real world through possessing this kid's body. And I feel like if they had continued along this path with the Nightmare on Elm Street films as sort of an anthology series, I thought it would have been pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad it went the way that it went. But they did a good job with Freddy's Revenge. Number 2 is the OG. It's the original 1984 Wes Craven's The Nightmare on Elm Street. I remember how scary the idea of somebody being able to kill you in your dreams was as a child. Full disclosure, I probably shouldn't have been watching these movies when I was 4 and 5 years old, but I was. And as a 4 and 5 year old, I didn't want to fall asleep. And anytime you can put out a horror movie that's new or inventive or offers something other than a retread of something somebody else has done in the past, I think it's really refreshing and it really takes hold of you. And that's what A Nightmare on Elm Street did. All the characters were great. The ending was a little bit goofy with the booby traps and the sledgehammer and all that nonsense. This movie's a classic. You can't go wrong with this one. Under most circumstances, it wouldn't be number 2. But they hit a real home run with number 1. A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. Number 1 with a bullet. We got Nancy Thompson back.
Where did you learn that rhyme?
And we pair her with a great cast of young talent that is locked up at Weston Hills. And they've all been tormented by the same guy. The last of the Elm Street children's speech was great. The realization that in your dream, you too can have powers against somebody that's after you.
It's back. In the saddle. Again.
That didn't work for me. I tried it over and over again. I wasn't a wizard. I didn't have switchblades. None of that shit worked when I was getting chased by Freddy Krueger in my dreams. But
I am the wizard master. I am the wizard master.
great movie, great concept, great cast, great ending. The ending was fantastic. Patricia Arquette just kills it in this movie. She would go on, of course, to bigger and better things. Unfortunately, we never got her back in A Nightmare. But man, they did not go wrong with this film. This film is a banger. Honorable mention, I'm going to say, goes to the Freddy's Nightmares TV series. Simply because I remember the Friday the 13th TV series and me watching it just religiously. I would not miss an episode because I was waiting for Jason to pop up and do something with one of those goofy shop owners. It never happened. At least in Freddy's Nightmare, we get a little bit of Freddy Krueger here and there. And anytime you can get something on your TV screen, more Freddy is a good thing. So that is the list. If anybody feels like I've missed the mark, feel free to let me know. Opinions are great. I love new perspectives on things. There are things in these movies that I've seen a million times a piece that I haven't caught. And it's always fun when somebody brings it to my attention. Hopefully we get a chance to do this again because we've been given new Nightmare movies to fit into this countdown somewhere along the way. This is Aging Gracefully. I'm Matthew Essex. I'll see you on the other side.